The bold and the beautiful spoilers. Ivy orders Dylan out of Los Angeles. A stunning showdown changes everything. The bold and the beautiful spoilers tease a shocking confrontation that will send major shockwaves through Los Angeles, as Ivy Forrester makes a bold and ruthless move against Dylan. What starts as an awkward misunderstanding quickly spirals into a heated face-off that could permanently alter Dylan's future, or so Ivy hopes. However, as B&B fans know all too well, nothing is ever that simple. With tensions already simmering beneath the surface, Ivy's explosive reaction may end up backfiring in ways she never anticipated. Ivy Forrester recently backed out of a planned San Francisco trip with Electra Forrester, a decision that seemed harmless at first. But staying behind in Los Angeles puts Ivy directly in the path of a moment that will leave her furious, protective, and ready to act. While Electra is away, Ivy unexpectedly witnesses something she believes crosses a major line, and from that moment on, Dylan becomes her target. Everything unfolds at Will Spencer's beach house, where Will and Dylan have just finished babysitting young Hayes Finnegan. Once the childcare duties wrap up, Dylan lets her guard down and does something completely innocent, or at least she thinks so. Wanting to practice a hidden talent, Dylan slips into a pair of ballet slippers and performs a short dance routine, trying to shake off stress and enjoy a rare moment of freedom. Unfortunately, fate has other plans. During the routine, Dylan loses her balance and tumbles straight into Will's lap. The moment is brief, accidental, and lacking any romantic intent, but when Ivy looks through the window and sees the scene frozen in front of her eyes, she jumps to the worst possible conclusion. From Ivy's perspective, it looks intimate, inappropriate, and deeply disrespectful to Electra. And Ivy is not someone who stays quiet when she thinks a boundary has been crossed. Fueled by anger and fierce loyalty to her niece, Ivy storms inside and unleashes a blistering confrontation. She accuses Dylan of intentionally putting herself in Will's space and suggests that Dylan has been eyeing Electra's boyfriend all along. Ivy believes Dylan is deliberately positioning herself as a temptation, someone waiting in the wings for Electra to slip up or step away. To Ivy, the situation is crystal clear: Dylan is trouble. Ivy reminds Dylan that Electra and Will have already been through enough obstacles in their relationship. The last thing Ivy wants is another complication, especially one living right above Will's garage. In Ivy's mind, Dylan represents chaos, instability, and a potential heartbreak waiting to happen, and Ivy refuses to let history repeat itself. Dylan tries desperately to explain what really happened. She insists it was an accident, that there was no flirting, no intention, and no betrayal. But Ivy isn't interested in explanations. Her mind is already made up, and emotions are running far too high for reason to break through. Instead of listening, Ivy delivers an ultimatum that leaves Dylan stunned. Ivy orders Dylan to pack her things and leave Los Angeles immediately. She wants Dylan gone, not tomorrow, not next week, but as soon as possible. Ivy even seems determined to make sure Dylan is out of town before Electra returns from her trip, ensuring that her niece never has to face the situation or question Will's loyalty. The demand hits Dylan like a punch to the gut. Dylan is already struggling to get back on her feet. She's searching for steady work, trying to rebuild her life, and just recently escaped the terrifying reality of living in her car. The guest room above Will's garage gave her safety, stability, and hope, something she hasn't had in a long time. Now Ivy is threatening to rip all of that away. Dylan is thrown completely off balance by Ivy's harsh words. She never expected one misunderstanding to cost her everything. Being forced out of Los Angeles could mean returning to an unsafe situation, losing any chance at employment, and starting over from nothing once again. Still, Ivy shows no mercy. In her eyes, Dylan should have thought about the consequences before crossing the line with Will. Ivy believes protecting Electra is worth any collateral damage, even if it means pushing Dylan back into hardship. For a moment, it seems like Dylan may actually give in. Ivy's authority, confidence, and sheer intensity leave Dylan shaken. Packing up and leaving might feel easier than fighting a powerful Forrester who already sees her as the villain. But this is where things take another turn. Will Spencer is unlikely to stay silent once he hears what's happening. If Will finds out that Ivy is forcing Dylan out over a misunderstanding, he may step in and shut the whole thing down. Will knows what really happened, and he may feel Ivy is massively overreacting. In fact, Will could insist that Dylan stay right where she is. From Will's perspective, Dylan did nothing wrong. She's been respectful, grateful, and focused on surviving, not stealing anyone's boyfriend. Will may also feel responsible for Dylan's safety, especially knowing what she's already endured. That puts Ivy in an uncomfortable position. If Will stand his ground, Ivy may realize that pushing Dylan away isn't as simple as issuing an order. The situation could fracture trust, spark family tension, and even raise questions about Ivy's control over Elektra's relationship. And here's the biggest twist of all: Dylan isn't going anywhere. Behind the scenes, Sydney Bullock is officially on contract, which means Dylan has a future in Los Angeles no matter how loudly Ivy demands otherwise. Whether she stays at the beach house, finds a new job, or becomes further entangled in Will and Elektra's world, Dylan is here to stay. That guarantees more drama, more confrontations, and more fallout ahead. Will Ivy double down and escalate her crusade against Dylan? Will Elektra return and get the full story, or only Ivy's version of events? And could this explosive moment plant the seeds for an even bigger scandal down the road? One thing is certain: this face-off changes everything. The bold and the beautiful spoilers promise that Dylan's journey is far from over, and Ivy's attempt to push her out may only pull her deeper into the center of the storm. Stay tuned, because this storyline is just getting started.